Career Connections, November 12th. We have Fastenal here, our speaker series for the fall semester 2020. And today they will be doing a company overview as well as focus on some specific topics that they are sharing with other college campuses during the pandemic. So today's topics are buyer behavior, sales leadership, sales management, business to business. So as you think of questions, certainly type them in the chat box. And we will be sharing a recording of this afterwards. So stay tuned for that. And I will introduce Chris Haggerty and Nicole Bryant with Fastenal, and we'll get started.
Hi, everyone. Thanks for joining. Again, my name is Nicole Bryant. I am the, who am I, Chris? I am with the marketing team. I am the recruiter for the Southeastern region, which covers Mississippi, Alabama, and Georgia. So my job is to connect with you guys and hopefully present career opportunities with you. And then this is Chris. He's our general manager of the Oxford store. He's really awesome. He's probably my favorite GM, mainly because he does things like jumps on calls with me. All right, so let's just dive straight into our small company overview. We're also going to discuss career opportunities, and then we will move over to Chris, and he's going to talk to you guys about the B2b sales side of it, the company. All right, so Becca, will you click the next slide? Thank you. All right, so Fastenal is very large. As you can see here, this is the footprint that we've created over the last 53 years. When we go to market, we have over 3,200 stores. 2,100 of those are public stores. So a public store would be something like Chris's local branch. So we have walk-in customers in there. Anyone can come in, and then we also sell directly to our customers. I think that about 5% of our business is through the front doors, so walk-in customers, and then 95% of our business is out the back door selling directly to the customers. 1,100 of those stores are on site, so putting a Fastenal inside a facility, which is also super cool and unique. It just kind of depends on the demand of the customer and how much money they are spending with us. All right, next slide. All right, so on here, these are our numbers from last year. I made the joke last time that clearly 2020 is just not over yet. Feels like it's lasted a lifetime. But we have almost 22,000 employees. Again, over 3,200 stores. If you look underneath the 90%, it says 105,000. Those are vending machines, and it's exactly what you are probably thinking of. Coke, snack machines, except for we put our own Fastenal products inside of those. And they are actually on site with our customers so that they can get product on demand. And then at the bottom, it says that we are a $5.3 billion company. At the end of this year, we're hoping to be a part of the Fortune 500. Fingers crossed. Don't think I have anything else to cover. As of a couple of months ago, we were a $1 billion company in safety sales. I also meant to say that a second ago, and I think that it's on the next slide. So Becca, you can click to the next one. But Fastenal is a distributor for pretty much all things: safety supplies, construction sales or construction supplies, metalworking, fasteners, tools, janitorial supplies. I always use the janitorial supplies as the example for you guys because we have a ton of those products on your campus. Thanks, Chris. I appreciate it. Chris is sending me mean messages, guys. All right, so let's talk about careers. We like to hire from within. So a lot of our employees will start out part-time. I started out part-time. I'm not sure if Chris did. I feel like I should know this by now because Chris tells his story like all the time. But I started out part-time with the company. I was recruited from UAB. I was a marketing major, but I also had my sales certificate. So I joined the company in March as a part-time sales associate. By July, I was in a full-time role. 2 months later, I moved into an outside sales role. And instead of moving into that management role, I moved into a marketing role, and now I am a recruiter. So all of that has happened in the last 3 years. Chris has been with the company for
this time 6 years. I originally started in 2003, and I did start part-time. I actually started part-time 2 times now. In 2003, I started part-time in a store and did some marketing where we go around and set up the stores. Moved to Texas, did some marketing around our NASCAR program, left the company, came back part-time and got into the sales side of the business in Indianapolis. Did that for a year. Came to Georgia to work in our distribution center as a manager in a department there. And then I've been the manager in Oxford for 2.5 years now.
So Chris has moved around a lot within the company. A lot of times people talk about how much growth happens with fastenal. It's very true. Another thing that I think is cool is that everyone seems to have their own story when it comes to their career path. To me, that makes us stand out as a company. I interview with quite a few people, and they all seem to have like the same, like, okay, you're going to go to training for 4 months, and then hopefully we'll have you a full-time position, and then you'll just kind of like, that'll be it. Whereas fastenal, there's constant movement. And like for myself, I love that. That way I don't get too bored in one position and it's time to like move on. Clearly, if you love your position, you could stay in that position, but I like to move on, move up. All right, so the internship program, there we go. The internship program is a 12-week long course program, whatever you want to call it. So to me, this focuses more on the management side of things. You do have a lot more job shadowing. I don't know if you do more training, but a lot of it is training because you're having to get things signed off on. And it's very similar to our part-time position. Both are paid the same. But if I had to choose one, I would probably choose the internship just because I think that you see different sides of the company. The part-time position is also awesome. You're definitely learning the ins and outs of fastenal, but it's more hands-on, whereas internship is more training. Chris, do you have anything to add since I have pregnancy brain over here and you like to call me out about it?
I would say that the internship program is a great program. A lot of times when I look at it, I probably look at it a little bit different than Nicole does. When I have somebody that comes in to do an internship program, yes, they'll shadow me and see a lot of what I do, but I try to treat it really no different than when I hire a part-time employee. Is when I hire somebody, I'm looking to hire somebody that is going to come into the company and want to grow within the company, and at the same time expose them to as much as the business as possible in as little time as we can, so that they just kind of get an idea of what we do as a company and how we do things. That way we can, if somebody comes in and they're not 6 months in and think, well, I don't know if this is a good fit for me. We kind of want to show everybody up front, like, this is what we're going to do and this is how we do it. I know when I got hired and probably when Nicole got hired, we started kind of to focus away from it a little bit. A lot of times we always talked about when we hire somebody as a part-time employee, that part-time employee is basically going to do a little bit of everything, whether it be from collections or inventory or delivering product or out physically going to sales meetings with myself or my salesperson. So it's a fun program. The internship program is a little more involved on my end, I think, with paperwork and filling out to make sure that we're getting all the tasks that you need checked off.
I mean, yeah, I agree. And with the internship, what I meant by like it's different, for whatever reason, although it's so similar, you register in our system as an intern. So like they send over this huge folder of like the trainings that you're going to do and the job shadowing, who you're going to hang out with. Whereas part-time, your hands-on experience is in a different order, I would say. Okay. All right, guys. So on this page, it just kind of shows how you can connect with us. You can always go to fastenal.com, click careers, type in your zip code of the location that you're interested in. Hopefully you see a position pop up, but if not, you are more than welcome to always reach out to me, tell me that you're interested, and I will point you to the correct contact. So let's say that you're interested in the Oxford location, but there's not a job posting. We will get in touch with Chris and say like, hey, we have someone interested, and more than likely, depending on the time of the year, they can create positions if there's not one posted. You can also go to YouTube, type in Fastenal, and learn more about our company. Other than that, clearly I'm not thinking straight today, so if I missed something or you have questions, please type it in the chat box or send me an email.
While we're on this page, I'll go ahead and put out there on yesterday and today, I uploaded 2 full-time positions within our company. One of them is at our Sylacauga location, is kind of an entry-level sales associate position. It's 40 hours a week, comes with full benefits, all that stuff to kind of help those guys down there. Not really anything specific we're looking for as far as degree-wise. Kind of get somebody in and learn the system and see where they fit. The other position is based out of our Atlanta distribution center, and it is the environmental health and safety services. The total thing that it is. That position is going to be in charge of the EHS stuff for the entire region. I think the person that was in it recently got promoted to a management level position inside of the distribution center. I think to fit her degree a little bit better than what she was doing with the EHS stuff. They get to, travel the region when they open travel back up within the company to go to do safety audits at the stores here and there. Probably 10 to 20% of the time they'll be traveling. The rest of it will be monitoring the safety trainings and safety of the employees, handling of any injuries that happen on the job. And I think both of those positions will be posted and available on JLink until I believe the 16th is when they close. So the end of the day, Monday, they close. Both of those positions are on JLink, and you go to there's a link on the posting to take you to our website to apply for those jobs if anybody on here is interested. And I'll put my email in the chat box if anybody has any questions or would like to be put in contact with the people that are hiring for those positions. I can point you in those directions if you'd like to talk to them about them before applying. Obviously, I know today's Thursday and it was Friday. It might be a little quick to get to it, but they posted the positions and they put them up for a week, hoping to get some good applicants.
Chris, aren't you planning to hire for your store at the beginning of the year as well?
Yes, in January, we plan on posting a part-time position for our store in the interim. But as we talk through the amount of times that we promote from within, there's a lot of moving pieces within our district right now. There's a full-time position that just got opened up or is about to open up in Kennesaw, Georgia, to be an on-site manager. So they're one of our on-sites. They will handle one and customer exclusively. There's some new sales positions going up within the district that they're trying to recruit a lot of the managers to go to, kind of a high-level salesperson to deal with like CEOs and stuff. So there's a lot of things going on, even with this pandemic is going on. We're continuing to hire and continuing to grow. So
I agree. Chris always hears about all these positions before I do, even though I'm the recruiter. I don't really get it, but he always is getting the inside scoop on things.
I'm putting in the chat the steps for our students to follow so that they can directly access JLink, which Chris was mentioning where the job was posted today. And I did print off a little bit about the job. And so for any students who might be listening, if you're majoring in occupational safety and health, or if you're a pre-engineering major and you're considering majoring or minoring in occupational safety and health within the Department of Engineering, then this is the kind of position that you would be interested in applying to. And I believe the job title is Environmental Health Safety and Sustainability Manager.
That is it.
Is that it? Yeah. And it's in Atlanta for our students that are interested. We have a lot of students that are interested in relocating to Atlanta. So I'm going to put the direct URL to JLink, but I'm also going to put the steps in my JSU where you use your single sign-on to access JLink. And JLink is the database that Career Services populates with employers and job postings and internships, seasonal help, part-time, co-op, full-time employment. All of that goes in the secure website. So make sure that you take advantage of that opportunity to search for jobs. It's not just jobs in Calhoun County. It's regional jobs, as Nicole and Chris were mentioning. It's jobs outside of the state of Alabama. It's jobs outside of the country. So there's a variety of employment opportunities to take advantage of there. So take a look at the chat as well. And I'm going to cut my camera off for a minute so I can finish typing in case you have anything else.
Hold on that, Becca. At the same time, we have, if there's any students in here that are interested in discussing or talking about that EHS manager position, applying and going through the interview process, I try to tell a lot of people, and I've done it myself, where I've applied for a position that I really didn't really expect or think that I had the possibility of getting, but it was nice to go through and do that interview process. I know a lot of times coming fresh out of college, interviewing can probably be the most scary part of the whole job process. So a lot of times if you're interested in a position, it's safe to just apply for it and see where it goes.
I agree with that. I agree. And also I would like to say that in the 3 years I've been here, I've never seen this many full-time positions opened for an external position. So definitely use the benefits of that. I'm not sure how often that's going to happen. I know that it's because we have a lot of movement and growth inside of our region. Like Chris was saying, we're creating new positions and things.
Yes, typically when we hire, we don't typically hire full-time straight off the street. It's almost 99% of the time you get hired as a part-time employee, and then you grow from there based on where you excel as an employee. So the fact that we're creating so much growth and creating so many new positions that we've kind of exhausted our part-time pipeline that we've built for ourselves, and starting to look for those kinds of positions externally. So I think
let's dive into this B2B conversation.
So as we start talking about the topics that we're going to talk about today, with business to business, buyer behavior, sales leadership, sales management, and then selling to all departments within an organization. When you look at Fastenal as a whole, the way that we go to market is kind of, I won't say backwards, but it's a lot different than a lot of our competitors go to market. Typically in the past, when I've started with the company, most of our salespeople, we'll go walk in through the back door of a company and go in and try to find, try to get their bolt bins so we can fill their bolts up, and then grow within there. As we progress with the company and as our people progress in their sales roles, we start looking at how can we go into a customer and how can I sell them a product and show them that buying that product from me is going to save the company money or better their business model in a sense, whether that be by increasing production or speeding up production or limiting man hours needed to do those production jobs. So we look at it, a lot of times we kind of look at ourselves as a solutions company rather than a sales company. So a lot of times, a lot of my sales calls that I go on and customers that I deal with personally within the company, they look at me as I'm essentially a business partner to them. You know, I'm in there and I'm looking for opportunities to grow my sales. Obviously, that's what it's all about for me, is to grow my sales, bigger sales dollars, bigger paychecks, all that good fun stuff. But my responsibility to them that I kind of hold myself accountable to is what can I do within their company to show them that I'm there to save them money, not just to sell them. I don't want to just sell them this one piece repetitively. I want to sell them this one piece. And once I'm selling them something, I'm going to continuously look for ways to better that product or get a better product in their hands, whether it be a little bit more expensive that lasts longer. So you start seeing the cost comes out on the long-term end of the product rather than the right now piece price. So when you look at that, a lot of our customers, when you start getting into that kind of their business, it all comes down to trust and that relationship with the customer. You know, start looking at big business. You know, when we start talking about some of the opportunities we have here at the store that we're working on with some of our local accounts that we have here in Oxford, we have one that is an opportunity that is, you know, $30,000 a month in sales that has never been presented to us, but because of our relationship that we have with that customer and the products and the ideas and solutions that we presented them with them in the past, those opportunities have been afforded to us to be able to quote and look at it. And a lot of the opportunities that we work on, you hear a lot of people talk about fastenal is expensive, fastenal is expensive. Well, a lot of times when we look at it, we look at it as our piece price might be more expensive, but our service model that's going to take care of you in the long run is where we're going to save you money. So that kind of, we used to use the term total cost of ownership is what we call it. So we'll have, when we say total cost of ownership, it is, what is it going to cost that company if Fastenal comes in and gives all of our solutions, all of our abilities, all of our supplies and our suppliers that we deal with, to what's it going to cost them to turn all that business over to us? You look at things like you try to get them to focus on a piece, not focus on buying a piece price, but rather than you want them to focus on what's the big picture. I guess one example I could do is one of our customers in town, Lee Brass, they were buying a tap for their production tapping line. They were spending somewhere between $40 and $50 per tap. We came in with a tap that was going to cost $75 or $80, and coming into looking at it, you know, they look at it and they say, oh no, that's too expensive, we can't do that. So we go to them and we say, okay, here's what we're going to do. We're going to bring some of these taps in to try. You're not going to pay for them. We're going to give you these 2 taps. We go to the machine shop. We check all the coolant that keeps the taps cool and keeps the parts lubricated while they're cutting. Make sure everything is set up the way it's supposed to be based on the specifications of the coolant manufacturer. And we ran the competitor's tap. They got, you know, I think it was 200 holes out of the tap. And we ran our tap. We got close to 1,000 holes out of it. Just for good sake and good faith, we ran another one of their taps and got a similar result, and then ran another one of our taps and got a similar result. And you start looking at that, and you hear the numbers and you see it, but when you start looking at the cost savings reporting that we gave them on one part alone, you know, they're going to spend around $30,000. When you look at purchasing the taps, they're going to spend around $30,000 more in piece price. But when you look at the total cost of ownership from switching from that part and committing to buy a more expensive part as a company at the end of the year, with the increased production time, the tooling change that they're going to not have to do. So instead of changing a part every 200 holes, which changing a tap typically lasts about 15 minutes from the time they pull the tap out to the time they put it back in. So for every 4 taps that they're changing, you know, there's an hour of time that they lost every day that that have to do with our tap. So you start looking in the business of production, time is money, and you start looking at the cost of it, you know, paying that employee, powering the machine that's doing it. And as you expand that out throughout the year, we presented them with a cost savings document, and I was trying to find it to send to Becca, and I couldn't find it before the meeting started. But we presented them with a cost savings document that showed them on that one specific tap, they were going to save almost $60,000 over the year. So as you look at that, they have 6 different taps. So you expand that out to all 6 taps, and if they perform the same way, which so far year to date, now that we've been selling them to them, they have the potential of saving almost $300,000 just because they switched to a more expensive tap. So when we look at total cost of ownership, that's a great example of how we try to convince our customers as a solutions company to help them better their business and lower their overall cost of doing business, which in turn makes them more profitable, makes them happy, and makes us happy because we're selling more product. And then as you do that, you start gaining more business within the company to get more opportunities to show them those cost savings. You want to build on that, Nicole, or are you good?
I mean, I feel like that's all right. And I was gonna say, whenever you paused on your conversation, I did put in the chat box a YouTube link that shows kind of some of those solutions that Chris was just talking about too. It's a great little YouTube video, so I just wanted to drop that in there. But it does talk more about the solutions that we offer that Chris was touching on at the very beginning of his conversation.
I want to add, and I want to share with the students what Fastenal did when the pandemic hit in March. They had a brilliant idea to provide PPE and vending machines and advertise that on college campuses to so when JSU went home early for spring break, and then we were all trying to figure out when we were going to come back to campus, Fastenal was the first one at our door that said, we know how we can help you. Not only can we provide these virtual workshops for your students, but we can also provide vending machines that will provide any kind of PPE that you want customized to JSU. So I want you to know that that's another example of their innovation and problem solving that I recently was witness to. So I just think that's really powerful, that what they did. So kudos to Fastenal, gold star for y'all.
Thank you. I thought it was very creative too. I have no idea who came up with that idea, but they deserve an A+.
They do, and we did push it up here at JSU. So we did attempt to try to incorporate that here on our campus. So Chris did a fantastic job on the sales side for using his network to protect us all.
And I know that he was doing the same thing with the customers as well. During, the rough of the pandemic, I know that the stores were going all out to all of their customers, making sure that we could supply them with the PPE that they needed. And I know there was one part where we didn't have the supplies on hand, and there was huge back orders and things like that. But Fastenal came through.
That's
why they're $1 billion company.
Yep. I will say too that when you look at the way that we reacted with the pandemic, the cool thing is I hear day to day when I'm in the office, customers will walk in and they'll say, "Oh, I'm ready to get back to work and for this pandemic to be over." And I joke a lot of times with a lot of customers that I'm ready for this pandemic to be over so I can have a break, because it has been crazy. I feel like we have been busier than ever trying to help a lot of our customers navigate through this difficult time. It's been pretty interesting to see how a lot of our suppliers and even some of our competitors, I have some of our suppliers that the parts that we sell have come to us and said the way that you guys have navigated this has put you guys in a position to be leaps and bounds ahead of some of your competitors. So the cool thing is you know, I've worked for a multi-billion-dollar company, and I've been able to make my own decisions with my feet on the ground to help our customers the best way we see fit. And the same with all the other stores. And they've now, you know, this is my market to run. And I can sell how I want to sell, when I want to sell, and what I want to sell. And if that means doing the best, you know, obviously trying to do the best things that we can do for our customers to make them work. So
I agree with that.
So I guess the next topic that we wanted to talk about was the strengths and weaknesses of our team and the importance of developing your team. So when you look at my role as a manager, my goal when I hire somebody is I need to have people that work for me that are able to step into my role as the manager. And beneath them, those people, I need those people to be able to step up. And as the ladder builds, and the same way as my boss works for me, his goal with all of his managers in the store is that somebody in one of his stores is that person that when he inevitably gets a promotion, now he's my district manager, Rick, who Becca knows well, has been in his role for, I think, like 12 or 13 years as a district manager and been with the company 35 years, I think. So he's a long-term employee. He started in Wisconsin, has lived in Georgia for a long time now. And part of that in learning how to develop our employees is making sure that we can pinpoint strengths and weaknesses. So as you work with people and as you're around people and watching people work, which as a manager, you know, that's what I get to do, is I get to watch people work. Or at least I think that's what a lot of my employees will say if you ask them. I get to watch them do what they do. But you find you find little things that everybody does differently. And it's fun to watch and see those things and kind of see what we can incorporate into the business. That, you know, just because I have an idea of how to do something, watching my employees work, they might do something that I say, you know, maybe we should do it that way. So I'm always watching as a manager and as a leader to see and find that best fit for each of my employees, especially with the way that we move employees and the way that we promote employees. The downside to being a manager is that as a store, typically our stores are where almost all of our employees start. My boss, Rick, started in a store, you know, 30 some years ago. Our CEO started in the store, you know, I think 26, 27 years ago. I think he's been with the company. And his managers, you know, found what he was good at and put him on a career path to ultimately where he's landed now as a CEO. And his, you know, everybody's managers always seen that person and said, okay, this is where we're going to progress him. So you find those strengths and weaknesses in your team and you pinpoint them and try to develop their training goal, which we talked about last week with our Fastenal School of Business and our in-house training. We try to direct those people down that pathway so that as they grow within the company, they can be promoted. So as a manager of a street store, where 95, 96% of our employees start, my job is to find those future leaders of the company, get them into the store, get them started, get them comfortable, get them trained, and find that position for them or help them find that position, whether it's within the district somewhere else, within the region, within a different region, within a different country, and helping them strive to get to that goal of promoting. And then I go right back to starting from ground zero again with, hopefully with students from JSU. We do a lot of recruiting with you guys when we're allowed to do recruiting on campus. We've done the virtual career fair, but always trying to find that next best person. In the store, I look at myself as we promote people, I've created, as we promote people, either I've created a position for somebody by the sales job that I've done, or because of the leadership that I've done, I've created a position for them.
I feel like you're the recruiter now. Jeez. I'm
going to tell Ron I need your job, I guess.
Clearly. I thought we were going to talk about how we're the team and how we bring all the strength to the table, but okay.
So as far as when we go and we look at the development of people too, we decide, as we're going and developing people, are they better when they deal with a bunch of different customers, or are they better if they deal with one specific customer for our on-site program? With the way that our business is split now, where we have our street stores that handle typically on a month, we have anywhere from 90 to 100 accounts that we service within the area. And we have people, myself and my outside sales girl that handles most of those accounts. And then we have a few people that handle the smaller accounts and a couple of people that handle the big accounts. So we're always looking for those kinds of people. Libras is one of those customers that we have that has 100% bought in with the way Fastenal does business. They're part of a national group called the Reserve Group that has sites in North Carolina, South Carolina, Michigan, Ohio, and I think Virginia. I think there's one site that as they buy in with our national accounts program, they get a rebate at the end of the year. So for every dollar that they spend with us, they get incentivized. The more money they spend with us, the more money they will get with a rebate at the end of the year. And they're one of those companies that has completely bought in with the way that we do business. And the more business that we gain over there, it's like when I started 3 years ago in this role, I think we were doing around $5,000 to $6,000 a month with them. Compared to the end of this year, we're probably going to do anywhere from $25,000 to $40,000 a month with them. And just this afternoon, I got an opportunity over there for all their bathroom supplies. So they're just continuing as we gain business and we gain trust. We just continue to get the opportunities to quote and look at new business. I think that covers about everything, Nicole, that we had planned on talking about, unless you want to build on any of it.
No, I was just looking at it too. I think you covered everything perfectly. But like Chris was talking about earlier, that we covered a lot in some of our other sessions about like our in-house training and how, like if you join our team, we train you to be able to do what Chris is doing right now, like to be able to talk about all of this stuff. I know that we don't expect you, sorry, I thought somebody was in my house. We don't expect you to come in and know all of this stuff. We know that it's a lot of information at the end of the day. Quit shaking your head at me. I'm trying to get it together. But we do know that it's a lot of information at the end of the day. Fastenal has a lot to offer. The things that we cover can be very broad, but they're very detailed whenever you dive into it. But Chris did a great job explaining everything today. I'm going to do better next week.
Hey, thank you both for your time today, and thank you students for your participation. And I can give you a ballpark idea of what we're looking at as far as days go for a spring career fair. We are looking at the first week in March, it starts on the 1st and ends on the 5th. We usually align our recruiting events with another event on campus for facilities purposes. So we're looking at that March 1st through 5th date. We haven't picked a day yet. And we are looking at an in-person approach. So I wanted to mention that, but I also wanted to mention that if we have any education majors in the house today, we do have our education fair slated for April 22nd. So that date has already been set as well. So that's for our teacher candidates. Nicole, congratulations on the big news. I had no idea. So I definitely want to say congratulations to you and your family for the baby on the way. So
well, I'm trying to, the reason I was like, let me know when you're planning a career fair, just because I am actually, my due date or maternity leave starts March, that first week of March. So I'm trying to coordinate and schedule everything so that we can continue to go through recruiting while I'm out. And so the faster you guys let us know, the faster I can for sure put you guys on the calendar. So everyone else, I can, give everybody else the responsibility for the semester. But if you have anything leading up to it, like if you would like for us to come and do like how we did like that little employer in the foyer or anything like that, I'm sure Chris and I would both be happy to do that prior to what? Okay. Prior to your career fair. So of course, keep us in the loop with everything and we will put you on the books. We would love to join.
Sounds like a plan. Sounds like a plan. I love employer in the foyer. So let's do it. Thanks again, everyone. I will stop the recording now.